Sprong from the wall. Sprong steps up, fires, block, loose puck, Everly to Schwartz, loose puck, they score! Jordan Everly wins it for Seattle!
No fouls to give here. 6 seconds left. LeBron's got it. Tillman on him. Lakers down 2. James off the window. It goes! What a basket by James! James, he gets him. James drives. James is fouled and one. LeBron!
The last thing you see before you die is LeBron James screaming at you. This is Interesting to See, your daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, gambling, etc. Technical difficulties yesterday, I think. I'm not sure what happened for the podcast, but the YouTube thing, I guess, worked. Which is a place you can always catch the show and watch it, which helps the show because there are highlights and things. The Tampa Bay Lightning give up a 4-goal lead, or 3-goal lead, four goals to 1 in the third period. And the Leafs win in overtime to take a commanding 3-1 series lead. Also, the Los Angeles Lakers get to overtime with the first highlight there. LeBron James tying it up at the buzzer. They then win in overtime. It would be a huge upset. The Miami Heat on the verge of one of the biggest upsets in NBA history. Didn't do highlights from that one because it just wasn't as interesting to me. But maybe next time. Giannis did play 26 points. The Bucks might be eliminated by the Heat soon. What a disaster that would be. Whew. Wait, we didn't do Toronto, did we? We did the Kraken. Let's do Toronto real quick. They won in overtime. Here's the overtime goal.
Return it, Nylander to Giordano with a shot. Tip scores! Toronto pulls off a stunner.
A stunner. What a goal. What a night of playoffs, huh? What a night of playoffs, Big games in the NBA. 3-game-to-1 lead for the Lakers over the Grizzlies. 3-game-to-1 lead Heat over the Bucks, who are the favorite to win the whole thing. I've always liked the Suns, but who the hell knows? Toronto erases a 3-goal lead, and they win 5-4 in overtime. The Seattle Kraken, they beat the Colorado Avalanche in overtime to stay alive in their series. New Jersey beats New York at home, so now New Jersey versus New York, Newark versus Madison Square Garden. Nobody's won a goddamn home game, but they're all home games if you live there. You can see Newark from New York City. I think you can see Newark from literally Madison Square Garden if you're on the top. You probably can't see it from the Garden, but you could see it from the Garden if you were in a skyscraper. Whew. What a night. What a night of playoffs. Just unbelievable stuff. The Maple Leafs got goals from Auston Matthews, which is just, I can't describe to you how happy it makes me that the best Maple Leaf player in like 30 years plus is American. I just find that funny. And he's from Arizona. Chuck, how did you feel about watching the NHL playoffs instead of watching the NBA playoffs?
I think I was watching hockey on TBS. I'm not gonna lie, but this game is boring. This game is boring as hell.
This game is boring as hell. They was talking about the Nuggets versus the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves, that was happened last night. And now he can openly endorse watching hockey instead of watching basketball because it's all on ESPN and TBS. He works for Turner, which is TBS and TNT. Shouts to them. They're doing a great job covering the playoffs. I've been a big fan of their coverage for the NHL and the NBA. I hate it when games are on ESPN. That's just my personal opinion. Huge news in football yesterday. No, it was not the Aaron Rodgers trade, which we will get to. This headline comes from Sports Illustrated. SEC mulling drastic punishments for storming the field. The conference harbors safety concerns over letting thousands of fans storm the field, and schools could lose future home games or even be forced to forfeit a win. They're getting sued, is what's happening. And people are having to pay for the field and stuff. So the SEC is literally threatening to, you won the game, then you storm the field, and they're threatening to say, okay, actually, we're going to change the outcome of the game. Do not storm the field. That'll help. The home game thing will help, too. That's just, I don't know how much money, but I would guess a couple million in a place like Knoxville or Tuscaloosa that changes hands. If you include food, hotels, and they're like, yeah, actually, the Iron Bowl was going to be played in Tuscaloosa, but this would never happen because they don't storm the field. They don't have to. which is it's genuinely crazy, but I get it. Storming the court is objectively stupid. Storming the court is more dangerous. The players are right there. It feels like at least football players might be able. They're wearing pads and they can get off, but it puts players in a bad position. Players are more important than fans, at least in the eyes of what costs money. In the eyes of what makes the sport, the TV is more important than the people that are there. And the SEC can't have they can't have Karens getting run over by people. They just can't have it. It's been fun, but they're gonna. Also, I went to an SEC school that stormed the field after an enormous win that everybody was watching on national television. And later that year, we had a win that was arguably bigger. And there was enough security there to objectively be like, hey, yeah, we did that one time. We're not doing that today. And I was like, well, let's go on. And they're like, no, get the fuck out of here. Get it back in your seats. So don't get it twisted. They absolutely have the power to be like, you're not storming shit. They did to us. We were ready. So they actively let this happen. Don't fool yourself. They let people storm the field. Yeah, I've seen it. Okay, the biggest news in the NFL yesterday happened on live television. Are we ready? Do you want to hear it? Let's do it. This happened. This is really how this broke. Adam Schefter on television.
Cisco.
Oh, Laura, we have breaking news right now. Breaking news. Aaron Rodgers officially is being traded to the New York Jets. And it just came down moments ago in a trade involving 6 picks. Aaron Rodgers is going to the New York Jets. It's official. It is happening.
Look at all these people's
finally,
faces.
after all this time, we've been waiting for this trade to happen, and now it is. And here are the details of the trade that just came down. The Jets...
Okay, whatever. Nobody's watching that show live. But everyone's going to watch the clip, though, which is how money is made in the year of our Lord. Okay, I have the compensation for you, and it is massive. And this is, of course, in a situation where neither of these people had leverage. The Jets get Aaron Rodgers, pick number 15, a 2023 fifth-round pick. So the Jets are getting Rodgers and the Packers pick and a 2023 fifth-round pick. The Packers are getting the Jets' first-round pick, which is number 13. So this year they're swapping first-round picks, which is moving up 2 spots for the Packers. And I want to be clear, 2 spots in this draft in the middle is garbage. No one cares. I mean, maybe they get a receiver. I don't like this draft is going to be weirdly. I think people are excited for cool stuff. I think that everybody agrees that it kind of sucks and that nothing fun will happen and that they're going to drag out the fucking show for 4 hours. But we will talk about that in our draft preview. The Packers are getting pick number 13. That was the Jets' pick. So they move up 2 spots. They're also getting the Jets' second-round pick this year. That's number 42. And they're also getting the Jets' 6th-round pick. That's number 207. That's what happens this year. Next year, the Packers are getting a conditional 2024 pick that is a second-round pick at worst, but could become a first-round pick if Rodgers plays 65% of the plays. So, 2 firsts and a 6th in exchange for Rodgers, a 1st and a 5th. Good trade. Call it even. I don't know. I saw this tweet from Albert Breer, which is pretty wild. So actually, I want to find this so we can bring it up just so everyone can visualize this. This was one of the weirder things I've ever seen. Okay, so the AFC has all of the quarterbacks right now. I know, as a Lions fan, the Lions have Jared Goff. And you're like, oh, Jared Goff is good. No, Jared Goff is good in the NFC compared to the competition, which is garbage. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. They are all in the AFC. One more time, let's go through the list. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. 2 of those quarterbacks will factually be missing the playoffs. It is impossible for all of them to get there. To say nothing of whoever's drafted this year, which I don't know that AFC teams are in the market. Those are good quarterbacks. That's like, what is that, 9? So there are only 7 other teams in the conference. So over half of the quarterbacks in the conference. Let's see. Josh Allen, very close to MVP. Joe Burrow, kind of argument for MVP. Justin Herbert, one day. Lamar Jackson, MVP. Trevor Lawrence, similar situation. Patrick Mahomes, 2-time MVP. Aaron Rodgers, 3-time MVP. Deshaun Watson, sexual predator. And Russell Wilson probably could have an argument for MVP occasionally. Deshaun Watson being on this list is weird. He is a sexual predator, allegedly. And he sucked last year. Shaking off the rust, we shall see. Let's check in with Aaron Rodgers' last play as a Packer, just as a Lions fan.
Here's a blitz. Can Rodgers beat it? Big ball downfield, and it is intercepted by Kirby Joseph.
What's up, Kirby?
Joseph out of bounds around the 45. He's got Rodgers for the
One more time. Let's watch Rodgers get hit and throw this interception. One more time.
blitz. Can Rodgers beat it? Big ball downfield, and it is intercepted.
Okay. Aaron Rodgers leaves the Green Bay Packers by shitting himself against the Lions at home with the playoffs on the line when the Lions had nothing to play for. That changed history probably in terms of getting the Seahawks to the playoffs and changed draft orders. And I don't know. Sometimes things matter. Sometimes they don't. Mock draft season is upon us. It is a great time to follow Freezing Cold Takes on Twitter and on Instagram to remind all of the people, nobody stands by their takes more than draft people. Like, this will happen. And you're like, haha, but it didn't. And that guy turned out to be really good. And now it's just clear that you're just a douchebag with a blog. When it comes to betting on the draft, there are two people who move markets. That's Dane Brugler and Daniel Jeremiah. Pay attention to their shit. And the most important of which is Daniel Jeremiah. Why, Nick? Why? If you have at any point in time had to feed your family based on whether or not a team wins or loses, then your opinion is a little more seriously and you understand the way teams think. If your ability to feed your family comes on people reading your shit, then it doesn't really matter. And those bloggers kind of try to emulate scouts. They kind of copy them. But it is not the same as like, wow, if we have another losing season, I don't have a job and I've only played football and I have agreed to technically, so, but I don't really have a plan. We better fucking win. We better scout better. That kind of thing. Yeah, so Daniel Jeremiah and Dane Brugler are the ones to pay attention to. We will do a draft preview on Thursday. Tomorrow's Controversial Wednesday. Maybe we'll talk about Max Scherzer. I don't know. We'll find out.